SportsNoah.com at Tulane, visiting with the new athletic director of the Green Wave, Troy Dannen. Troy, first of all, welcome to New Orleans. I guess the weather here is a little bit different than what it is in Iowa right now.
Oh, it's crazy. When I was here on Sunday for the final interview, it was 77 degrees, and I got back to Iowa, and there was a winter storm, and it was snowing. And I know why there are a lot more flights out of Iowa and into New Orleans than there are from New Orleans to Iowa.
Can understand that. You've spent your entire career in the state of Iowa. You mentioned in your remarks about the attractiveness of the city of New Orleans. What else is it that you saw in this program that was attractive to you in this job?
Well, an athletic department can only be healthy if the institution is healthy, and as a high-standing academic, a research school with the professional law and medical schools. Tulane as an institution is going to thrive in the long term. And so to have an athletic department in an institution like that inside of a city like New Orleans it's really a unique combination of things that come together to be kind of the perfect place for where I want to be.
Now, the first thing you've got to do, probably right after you stop doing this interview, is start the process of hiring a football coach. And the one thing that struck me in looking at your history at Northern Iowa is you've not really had to hire a high-profile sport coach of any kind. But at the same time, I think that is a good thing in that your coaches probably have had opportunities to leave, and yet you've managed to extend contracts, give them raises, do all the right things to create an atmosphere to convince them to stay. So that said, how do you go about, and who do you lean upon for this process that you're going to go through over the next few days in trying to find a coach?
First, in a lot of ways, it's harder to keep them to stay than it is to find coaches who will be successful, particularly at the level of Northern Iowa, because of the money and the prestige at the next level. And fact of the matter is, I wanted to move for that prestige of the FBS level versus the FCS level. So I was very proud of that. That said, the fundamentals of a coach that you want to keep or a coach that you want to hire are the same. It's the characteristics that they bring to the program. It's the philosophies that they bring. It's how are you going to build your staff. It's whether you fit with the institution or whether you don't fit with the institution. And, while high profile means everybody's watching, the fundamentals of hiring the volleyball coach and the football coach right now are in lockstep. They run parallel, that you need the same characteristics no matter who the coach. Football's only high profile because everybody's watching us. Now, I'm very well connected throughout the country. I'm being on 2 NCAA committees, including the football committee. I've established a lot of relationships that really, since I was named a finalist, and I started doing a little bit of preliminary work, and then after the president called me on Monday, I really got into it with some of the agents and trying to feel out who would be interested in us, let alone who do we want to pursue. I'm very enthused that the interest is there. I know what we need. I know the type of person that any institution like this needs. Now matching up the skill set, the tactician part with that other piece, that's the interview process, and we'll do that and be ready to go sooner rather than later.
There you go. And you mentioned you do have to hire too with a volleyball coach as well. What, in terms of, a lot of times it's been brought up here, is like history at private institutions or academic institutions. How much does that play a part in the process of what you will look for in the background of a coach?
History is a great guide. It can be a guide to what you should do, but it can be a guide to what you should avoid. And so when the history isn't what you want it to, you can use that history to say, here are the pitfalls, here are the things that have prevented us from doing things before. So how do we then use that history to our benefit? There are historically great things that have happened at this university, and things that make me understand that anything can happen. This is an institution that's capable of any competitive outcome that we all really desire. It's using those roads of history that we've learned over the last decade or 2 decades where maybe the success hasn't been what we wanted it to be, and help that chart us down what is going to be the right road.
After you manage to get that behind you, what is the next thing on your list that you feel like you need to get done coming into here?
I just need to get everybody on the bus. I need to get the bus pointed the right direction and get going. I've met with the staff once. staff is always very apprehensive when a new athletic director comes in, and they shouldn't be apprehensive from a standpoint of my job, but I want the staff a little apprehensive from a standpoint of it's time to step the game up. And we've done some great things, and there's some great people here, but we're gonna redefine our objectives. We're gonna redefine our mission, and in some ways redefine our purpose, and get everybody in the staff to take their respective areas and elevate them to the level that fits that mission, the purpose, and the objectives, and go forward. So the staff, getting us all in harmony and moving in the right direction, that is my priority in the spring. I've got a lot of people to meet. The donor and the external involvement in this institution is special, and I need to meet a lot of people, and I need to understand. People are going to communicate the culture to me, the wants, the needs, the wishes, and I need to meet with as many people as I possibly can. The last thing that I need to do, when we made the move to USA from USA to American, a huge leap, and I don't know that anybody really understood the size of the leap. And I think we need to do an analysis of every part of our department, some type of a gap analysis to see where are we thriving and where are we lagging. Because there's some areas that we're really in good shape with, and I want to make sure we don't mess with what's great. And I want to identify where we're lagging a little bit, and put some of our emphasis and some of our time right now into those areas where we're lagging.
Sounds like you got your work cut out for you here in the next few months. Troy, welcome to town, and we look forward to visiting with you down the road.
Thanks. I appreciate it. It's not really work. You're around great people who are highly motivated every day. This is fun. There's a challenge, but Tulane's got a great opportunity in front of it, and I'm glad I'm going to be a part of it.
Stay with us here at SportsNola.com. Much more coverage of the Green Wave to come.